think about it, you put your offer here, right in the middle, you figure out all the customer related issues, you figure out how you're going to deliver the products and services, and then you figure out your financial model, right? Your cost, which comes from here, cost comes from here, revenue comes from here, right? Revenue doesn't come from your cost side. Because anything to make the product is going to cost you money. That's why cost is here. Anything to get business comes from here. So that's right. So is this pretty clear in your mind? Value proposition in the middle, customers on the left side, on the revenue generators on the left side, the cost generators on the right side. Cost, actual revenue, get your profit. It's a model that ties together. Okay, so now let's kind of dig in to each of these parts. So on the rightmost side is something called customer segments. So customers can be people, consumers, or it can be organizations. If you're selling a business-to-business product, B2B product, it's organizations. So B2C product, consumers. And it's generally, most companies do not sell one product everywhere. They basically segment it, depending on the customer characteristics, their product can be perfect, better than anybody else. So, say you develop a very high-end refrigerator, one just got all the features. It talks to you, tells you the temperature, it's got many compartments, it's big inside, it's got a freezer, and you're competing with a refrigerator that comes from China, which is small, costs, 1/10 of what you price it at. So, obviously you cannot compete with it with consumers that cannot afford it. But if you have a very well-to-do consumer, he's not going to want a cheap, China-made refrigerator. He's going to want a high-end refrigerator made by Sony or Hitachi or one of the companies that likes to do high-end products. Because, and there's a reason why China focuses on commodity markets and why Japan focuses on premium markets. Can somebody tell me quickly why?
Mass production. China.
Both are mass production. China is very good at very high volume production. So they can get economies of scale. What is the other reason?
So the land that China has a lot of land, set up huge factories. There are a lot of people from Japan has very little land. So they need to compete at a global level. They need to produce very high land.
Exactly. So the infrastructure costs are high in Japan compared to China. Because land, imagine putting up a factory in Bombay, right? Compared to putting up a factory in Rajkot. In Bombay, land is so expensive that if you try to build a huge factory to make lots of small cheap refrigerators, you're going to find that your infrastructure, your land cost makes it impossible to compete with somebody making a refrigerator in Rajkot. Same thing with Japan and China. The land costs are different, but also the people costs. Right? On the other hand, the Japanese are also, a lot more highly educated than the Chinese. The other thing is that the Japanese have a reputation for quality. They like to do a lot of this tiny things, but everything is perfect. No mistakes. They do the Kanban system and the just-in-time system and all these things in order to get perfect product. Right? So the Japanese are well positioned to build premium products. Chinese are well positioned to provide commodity. So you have to figure out, what is your value proposition to figure out which kind of customer you're going to sell the product to. Right? So you don't want to sell a premium product for low cost. And you're going to lose money. Right? You don't want to try to sell a cheap product to somebody who can afford a lot more. You want to make more money from it. So basically customer segments is a way to divvy up, slice and dice customers into smaller and smaller chunks so that your offer, whatever you're selling, your product or service, becomes very compelling, very attractive, and better than the competition. Because ultimately, either you are going to get the business or the competition is going to get the business. Because everybody needs a refrigerator. So they're going to buy from somebody these days. So you want to be the one who makes the sale, you want to keep yours in inventory in the shop, or you want to go, or will the competitor make the sale. So ultimately, if you've targeted your product well to the right customer segment, you're going to be successful. So the whole idea is to slice and dice the customer base so that you can figure out exactly who can buy it. It's going to be well educated versus uneducated. Is it going to be farmers versus urban? Is it going to be people in North India versus people in South India? So that's all segmentation. It's up to you to decide what segmentation is right for your product. And you can segment in many different ways. You can say I'm going to go after the mass market, big market, or I'm going to go after the niche market, tiny market, or I'm going to go after the segmented market, which we just talked about, or I'm going to go and have a diversified business. I'm going to offer all the products from low end to high end. But I'm going to have a factory in Rajkot that makes all the low end refrigerators. I'm going to have a factory in Japan in order to make my high end product. And then I'm going to go to Vijay sales and see that only, Mr. Gupta's refrigerators are everywhere, right? Low end to high end. Nobody else has got shelf space. Shelf space is what you capture. So that's diversified. And multi-sided is where you have both sides. Like Amazon has got both sides of the market. It's got consumers who come to buy product, and there are merchants who sell the product. And they want the merchants to have the product in stock and advertise to the consumers. So they're just providing a network for matching with you. And they take 5% from every transaction. So many ways of segmenting your customer base. And then once you've segmented it, now you're ready to take your product and service and say that my value is perfect for this particular segment. So you basically take your bundle of products and services and target it perfectly so when you come up with your idea, you're going to be coming up with value propositions for the customer segments that you target. So, and the values can be price, speed of service, etc. So, does anybody remember for Opti, what did I do? So, what was my value proposition for Opti to beat Intel and all the big companies? What was my value proposition?
Simple cash.
Highest performance. Highest performance.
Better performance at the same place.
No, my price was much higher. Price was higher. Like quite a bit higher.
Reduce time.
Exactly. So I basically went to motherboard and PC manufacturers and said, look, we can build a cache-based 33 megahertz 386 PC right now, rather than 6 months from now. Because other people do not have a direct amount of cash inside the chipset. And I was the first to have it. So I used time or speed for my value proposition. And that value proposition was good enough. Now, if I had taken my value proposition to high-end companies like IBM, Compaq, etc., would it have worked? It would not have worked because I did not have customer service. I was a startup. I do not have customer service. I don't have good documentation. My cash controller is not the world's best cash controller because, we had come up with a very fast design. So I did not have the reputation for providing 1 million chips in 3 months. I didn't have a factory. I didn't have the cash flow. So I was not ready for the high-end premium customers. So you can see that with my value proposition for Opti, I had taken my product and told myself, sell to IBM. I got the best product right now. Look, I'm giving you time to market advantage. IBM is going to say, oh, where's your documentation? The manufacturing people say, what is your reputation for delivering? Show me your factories, show me your quality standards, show me your this and that. I could not have succeeded. Because I was a startup. I didn't have any of that stuff. I didn't have a factory. I didn't have, this was my first product. So, if I had gone to the premium part of the PC market and tried to sell my chips, I would have failed. And I would spend 6 months trying to figure out why is IBM not buying. Plus, IBM is a slow decision maker. They don't make a decision on the spot. They will go ahead and call Intel and say, okay, give me your product plans, and then bring in everybody, and they'll do a fly-off, then they'll do a prototype comparison. So they don't care about trying to be right ahead of everybody else. So you can see that with Opti, I could not go after the premium segment till I was ready for it. There's a lot of money to be sold by selling the high-end product, but I couldn't. I was not ready for it. If you're not ready for it, as an entrepreneur, you should not go after it because you're going to fail. And then your business is dead. And your value proposition of time to market is useless. Does that make sense? Why, with Opti, why we targeted the commodity low-end segment and yet we made a lot of money. So I use price and speed of service and high performance and supplied it to people who are not going to have high quality standards to get there. So, with Opti, I use many different things in order to get there. I use customer segmentation that matched my offer. Make sense? Okay, and then, so you have value proposition, and now you're on the customer side. So you got your customer segments. The other thing is, how do you get your product to the customer? So my product, Opti chipset product, if I'm selling it to Taiwanese guys and Korean guys and Japanese guys and customers in Singapore and Hong Kong, do I know Chinese? Do I know Korean? Do I know Japanese? Can I speak those languages? Can I build a customer relationship with these people? Do I know even how to call, how to figure out how to call? I have no access to these customer segments. I know that they should buy my product, but I don't know how to get to them. So I use the channel. So I go to sales reps in Korea. I go to sales distributors in Taiwan. I go to sales reps in Hong Kong. So there are different kinds of channels that are set up in different countries depending on the style of their relationship. So in Japan, it's a very formal way of doing business. In Taiwan, it is like, you're willing to eat with me, smoke with me, drink beer with me, I'll do business with you. It really changes. With every country, every society, there are different relationships that you have to build. And we're Indians sitting in Silicon Valley, we don't know everything. We don't know how these people like to do business with each other. How will they do the transaction, how will they buy product, how will they pay us the money, all those things we don't know. So the channel is what does the job for you, of taking your value proposition and making the offer to the segment that you have. Does that make sense? And so what does the channel have to do? They have to create awareness for a product. Hey, there's this company called Opti, they've got a great new chipset. It's going to make your PC, make your motherboard faster than anybody else. It's 30% faster than anybody else, and you can be at the start of the market. Help the customers evaluate your product, help them purchase your product, deliver the chips, and then provide after sales support. There's always about people don't understand, how to understand your specs or anything. There's always after sales support. So the channel, whether it is